Good day everyone, Mr. Cargill here with our next AutoCAD video. Now in this video, we will be continuing the interpenetration series, interpenetration of solids. Alright, and we are going to be looking at a different kind of interpenetration. The drawing that we are going to be looking at is this one right here. Now up to this point in the series, all the drawings that we've done, the interpenetrating solid has always been straight, horizontal. But for this one is going to be tilted at a 45-degree angle. And that will change how we do the elevation and also how we do the plan view. Alright, so we're going to be doing this drawing right here, drawing number 5. So as usual, we're going to be starting with the plan view. Alright, and we're going to start with this hexagon right here. And it says that this distance across the flats is 64. So from this point here to this point here is 64. And we can use that information to start our drawing. So let's go to AutoCAD. Now we're going to start with the hexagon, so we're going to select polygon. And then it says enter number of sides. We want 6 sides since it's a hexagon, so 6, enter. Specify center of polygon, just click anywhere to start. It's asked if we want the polygon to be inscribed in the circle or circumscribed about the circle. Now since we're given the distance across the flats, the hexagon has to be circumscribed about the circle, meaning that a circle would fit perfectly inside the hexagon. So you're going to select circumscribed about circle, and then it says specify center, so the center is there. So now we need the radius. Let me just turn on ortho. So since the total diameter would be 64 for the distance across the flats, in this case the radius would be half of 64, which would be 32. So right here this is 64, so this distance is going to be 32. Alright, so type 32, enter. And we can measure this to ensure that it is correct. So just go to utilities, click on the drop down under measure, select distance, and measure that, and it is indeed 64. Now I'm going to set my units because I want my units to be set at 0.0 because we're going to be working with a decimal in this drawing, so we won't set it to 0, we'll do 0.0 and click OK. So with this done now, we can start the elevation. So before we finish the plan view, before we draw the other solid on the plan view, we have to do the elevation first. So we have to finish this before we can get this part right here. Alright, so we're going to start the elevation about 20 millimeters above the plan view. So just select a line. Again, you can just type L, enter for the shortcut, or you can click on line. So you're going to place your cursor right here at this point. Ensure that you have endpoint turned on in object snap. Then just place the cursor here, don't click anything, and then just slightly bring it up and type 20, enter. Good, and we're going to start here. So now we're going to draw a horizontal line, so just bring this line across here. No specific distance, just ensure that it passes this edge of the hexagon. Then click on this line and extend it to pass the next edge of the hexagon, so about there. Good. So with that done, we're going to now bring up some lines from here. No specific distance for these lines that we're bringing up, you just want to bring them up at a distance that is greater than 150. Since we know that this is 20, like for the ones that we're going to bring up from here, we can bring up these like 170, since this is 20 and this will be 150. For the other ones, just bring them up at a distance that looks greater than the 150. Alright, so I'm going to bring this line up to over here. Same for this one, I can just do 170 for this one, and and for this one as well. And just bring that up to about there. Alright, so now I can select a line. I'm just going to bring this across like that, since I know that this is where the 170 mark is. But I'm going to measure to ensure that it is indeed the 150. From here to here is 150. Alright, so let's measure this. Alright, and it is indeed 150. So we can trim off all the excess lines that we don't need. So to trim, we just type TR, then press enter twice. So it's TR, enter, enter. Alright, nice. So with that, the next thing that we need is the center line right here. So we need a center line right here. Alright, so let me select a center line. So let's just go to by layer right here, select other, and then load, scroll down to center right here, click OK, then click on center, OK. Alright, so now let me select center here. So I'm going to select a line and right at that triangle right there, just ensure that you have midpoint turned on in object snap, midpoint right here. Click on that point, and I'm going to bring this line all the way down to a distance, any distance past the end right here of the hexagon for the plan view. So bring that down like that. Good. And I'm going to need a next center line here, so let me just do this right now and bring this across like that. No specific distance as yet. Alright, so the next thing now, it says that from here, from this point here to that point there should be 12. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to offset this line by 12. Alright, and I'm going to bring it up like about there. Good. So that point right there. Alright, nice. So right here. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. It says that this line right here, the length of that line is 150. The length of that line is actually 150, and the angle that it's at is 45 degrees. So we are going to use polar tracking. So click on polar tracking and click on the drop down arrow beside polar tracking, and click on this that says 45, 90, 135, etc. Then select this line, come to this point right here at that triangle, and because you have polar tracking turned on and this set to 45, then this green line will indicate that this is a 45 degree angle. So let me just change from a center line to a regular line. Alright, so from right here, from this point, this triangle, and draw this 45 degrees, and the length of this is going to be 150. So 150, enter. Good, now we have that. Alright, so since we have that, we no longer need this line right here. So but I'm not going to delete it, I'm just going to change it to a different color, lighter color. Alright, good. Alright, now, so we have this. The next thing on the drawing, it says that this distance right here across the flats is 45. Alright, so if this distance right here is 45, that means that half of that 45 would be 22.5. And that's the decimal measurement that we're going to be using in this drawing, which is why I set the units to 0.0. So I'm going to select line, and from here I'm going to click this point, and this green line right here is 45 degrees. It says 135. Alright, but it's 45 degrees in this direction. So I'm going to type 22.5. Click enter, spacebar. Then click on that line, select here, and just extend it by 22.5. So now we have that. So now that we have that, let me just do this, draw a line from here, from this point at the same 45 degrees, and just bring it down to a distance pass here. So anywhere here, you just want it to be past this line right here. So let me bring it to about here, and for this point as well, let me just bring it to somewhere like down here and bring it to the center. Alright, good. So now we have that. So now that we have that, the next thing that we need to do is to draw this hexagon right here. Alright, so for this hexagon, the distance across the flats is 45. So let's draw that hexagon. So once again, we're going to select polygon. Number of sides is 6, so press enter. Specify a center, just click anywhere for right now. We want it circumscribed again since we are given the distance across the flat, so we're going to do circumscribe about circle once more. So click on that. For this, since the, let me just turn on ortho for a minute. Since the distance across the flats is 45, so the entire diameter of a circle that would fit into this would be 45. So the radius for that circle would be 22.5, which is half of 45, so type 22.5 and click enter. And here we have our polygon. Good. So we want the polygon to be about 20, we want the edge of the polygon to be about 20 millimeters away from this point right here. So I'm going to click on that, I'm going to extend that. Let me turn on back polar tracking, and I'm going to extend this by 20. Enter. Alright, so once we do that, we can now place this polygon, put this polygon in the right place. So I am going to rotate this polygon by 45 degrees, because as you can see in the drawing, it's set at 45 degrees right here. We know it's 45 degrees because it lines up with that perfectly, and this is 45 degrees. So I'm going to tilt the hexagon. Alright, so I'm going to select rotate, click on the hexagon and press enter. It says specify base point, so let me just click here. It says specify rotation angle. I am going to select 45 and press enter. So now here we have our hexagon perfectly rotated. So I'm going to click on it, click on move it from here and bring it to that point right there. Nice. Alright, so once you have done that, this is what I'm going to do from here. I'm going to bring down some lines from here, bring them across to here, bring them across to here. Alright, and then now, before I go any further, I'm going to label the hexagon. So let's see how it's labeled in the drawing. So in the drawing, it's labeled A, B, C, D, like that. So let's label it the same way in our drawing. Alright, so go to text and select multi-line text. Just click on anywhere to start. Let's create a rectangle like this. And then I'm going to type A. Good. And you see that right there. Now the A is very small. It might be even smaller for some of you. So if it's smaller, you just have to scale it up. And I'm going to show you how to scale it. So since this is not that small, I'm going to make it about double the size. So I'm going to click on this and type scale. Then it says specify base point. So I have to click on this A. And then I'm going to type 2 since I want to make it twice the size. If yours is very small, you might want to make it 10 times the size or something like that. I'm going to make mine twice the size. I'm going to type 2 and press enter. So let me just change the color of the text to make it a bit brighter, let's change it to this green color. Alright, so now let me move the A from here and bring it to this point here. Let me just turn off object snap for a minute because I don't want the A to snap on any of these lines. Alright, so let's bring it to here. So this is A. Let's see. Yeah, that's A right there. Alright, so I'm just going to copy this. So I'm going to click on A and select copy from here. Alright, so this is A, and then this is B right here, which means that this is C, and then B is over here, this is E, and then F is right here. Alright, so we have that, we have our hexagon labeled. So from here, this is what we're going to do. These lines right here, right at the edge of this solid right here, where these lines meet this line right here, we are going to bring down some lines. We're going to bring these lines down vertically. So let me turn on back ortho. So with that now, and turn on object snap, I'm going to click here and just bring this down. For right now, I'm not bringing it down any specific distance, just greater than it pass here. I just wanted to pass the base of the hexagon right here. So I'm bringing it down like that. Bringing this down like that. And from here, I'm going to bring this down as well. Alright, now if we look at this drawing here, up here, this is AF right here, and this is AF down here. So we're seeing the true length of AF here. So this is the true length of AF. Alright, since we're looking down on it, we're able to see the actual true length of AF right here. So since we're able to see this true length, we can measure AF here, and we will know the distance of AF down here because it's the same thing. Alright, so let's do that. So let's measure. So the utilities measure distance. Alright, so if this AF here is 26, that means that AF here has to be 26 and AF is on this line right here. And I know that because if it's on this line here, when you bring that line across and bring it down, it's this line. So AF has to be on this line. So since it's 26, what I can do, I can select a line from this point here. And since it's 26, it's going to be 13 above the center line and 13 below the center line. So I'm going to bring my cursor right here to the center line and bring it up. I'm not going to click anything. I'm going to type 13 and press enter, and then I get that point. So now I can bring this across to the hexagon. Just bring it over there, and I can do the same thing down here. Just bring my cursor here, don't have to click anything, just bring it down and type 13, enter, and bring it across. Alright, so we're going to trim out what we don't need. So TR, enter, enter, click here to trim out that, click there to trim out that. Alright, nice. So we have that. So now what we need is the rest of the hexagon, or the rest of the solid down here for the plan view. So we need points B and E. So here, this is the true length of BE right here. So looking down, we will be able to see the true length of BE here. So whatever BE is up here, it will be the same thing down here. So let's measure. So up here, BE is actually 52. Alright, so since it is 52, that means that down here this has to be 52 as well. So 52, that would be 26 plus 26. So we're going to bring our cursor to this line here, the center line. Alright, to the center line this time. Alright, and bring our cursor here to this point, and then bring it up and type 26, enter, and then bring that across to the hexagon here. Then I can trim this, so TR, enter, enter, and trim this. Then I can select line again. I can come here again on the center line. Just move my cursor down and type 26, and then bring that across like that. So I can trim this now, so TR, enter, enter. Alright, good. So now we have that. So since we have that, we know this distance CD, because CD and AF would be the same distance, because as you can see right here, CD and AF is the same length. Alright, so AF was let me measure and see what AF was. I think AF was 26. Yeah, so that means that the next line has to be 26 as well. Line CD has to be 26. So we can just, for right now, I can just extend this line here and bring it across to that point. And then I can click on this line and extend it, bring it across to this point right here. Alright, so now I'm going to draw the hexagon. I'm going to draw the hexagon down here. So let me select a line. Alright, so we'll do this. Click on that point there, then bring it to this point here, then to that point there. Good. So then we're going to come here, click here, bring that there, and then to this point right here. So now we have all our points. So all we need to do is to label our points. So A, B, C, D, E, F. So let's label the points. So I'm just going to copy A from here. Bring it down. Let me turn off ortho and turn off object snap. So A would be on this point right here. So this is A, this is B, C, D, E, and F. Alright, so let's change that to B, C, D, E, and then finally change this to F. So there we have all our points. So now to get the interpenetration point here, this is what we're going to do. Where these lines meet the hexagon here, we're going to bring them up. So let me just use a different color so we don't get confused. Let me use blue. So I'm going to bring this line up. So let me just turn on ortho and turn on object snap. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to bring this line up past that line right there. Alright. Then we're going to select a line again. Bring up a line from here. Past here, so like to that distance. So this is what we're going to do now. Alright. So as you can see with this drawing, it says that the first point is this point right here. So let's get that point. So this line here, where this line meets the center, that's the first point right here. So this blue line meets the center line right here. So this is our first point. And to draw this, let me just use a yellow line. Alright, so from here, that's our first point. So now our second point would be where this line meets this blue line, which is this point right there, as you can see in the drawing, like right there, that point. Alright, so now the next point is this point right here, where the blue line meets this line right here. Alright, so now that's all finished, so all we have to do is to brighten the drawing. Alright, so let's do this. Everything that is going to be brightened, I'm going to change to yellow. So let me just change these to yellow. So let me just click on these and make them yellow. Make that yellow. This is yellow. This as well. Alright, this is yellow. Same thing here. This. These are all yellow. Let me just and let me change them to yellow. Alright, good. So let me just trim. So let me trim this line here. Trim on this. Let me just delete this. Alright, and yeah, this line right here, let me change this for a minute. Let me change this to gray, since it's going to be a construction line, and then I can just draw a yellow line right here. Alright, good. So everything that should be brightened is brightened. We just need to trim this. Trim this here again. Alright, nice. And trim here. And delete this. Alright, good. So these lines here, let me just make these gray construction lines, and also these lines here. Oh, this should also be yellow, and this should be yellow as well. Alright, and we need to trim these two lines here. Alright, so that's it. This line right here, let me trim this. And then delete this. And just use a gray line for right there. Turn on polar tracking. Alright, good. So that right there is the completed drawing for a hexagon that is tilted at a, for a hexagonal prism that is tilted at a 45-degree angle and goes into another hexagon. Alright, there's just one more thing that's left to trim, which is this point right here. Good, so there we are, perfect. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new today. Remember to like, comment, share and subscribe for more technical drawing content. Once again, thank you, and do have yourself a nice day.